Hi, Andy. Hi, Rob.
Hi,
Hi,
Andy.
Hey Andy, hi Rob.
Getting a coffee.
Quick question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we have the Q&A functionality on?
Yes.
We just asking people to pop it in the chat. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. It's 6:30. Shall we start?
Let's kick off. Are we recording? Yeah. Fabulous. So hello, welcome, and thank you everyone for joining us today on Albrick's webinar, Elevating P2P, Better DPO Metrics with Stronger Relationships. A little bit of housekeeping first. We're going to run through the webinar, so I'm going to do some introductions to Albrick and to our presenters. Then we're going to run through a few of the statistics around DPO. Then we're going to run through some real life situations Rob's going to give us a little bit of insight into his world. And then Anna's going to give us some real world examples of where the solutions have been used. And then at the end of that, we've got a question and answer session, but feel free to pop your questions into the Q&A functionality on Teams, and we can read those out at the end, if that's okay. So in today's world, DPO is an important lever for finance leaders, especially those of us that are aiming to optimize cash flow, supplier relationships, and overall financial performance. We're going to start the webinar, and we're going to run through. There's myself, Danielle Croft, and I'm managing partner at the OG Group. We've got Anai Jane, who is the Vice President of Albrick, and he's got over 15 years experience in finance system technology. And then my friend, Rob Gibney, who's an independent consultant. He's got a vast experience at the forefront of business transformation and especially around the ERP space. So today we're going to talk about how Albrick's second site solution is reshaping P2P. And we've got a focus on DPO metrics and bottom line impact. The webinar gives real life examples of how technology can fix broken finance processes and help businesses to realise value fast. So on this slide, we've got just a few examples of some pretty scary statistics around finance system implementations. For example, 52% of companies failed to achieve their expected ROI from digital transformation due to lack of process automation post-implementation. I mean, more than half. That is, I think you'll agree, a scary statistic. On this slide, we've got some more strong messages from Gartner, PwC, IDC, showing that continuous improvement after implementation is vastly important. I think the key message here is that implementing the system is not the end of the journey. We've got to look at streamlining the processes to maximise the return on investment. Otherwise, it's kind of a waste. So in terms of Allbreak, what makes their solutions key to helping finance teams simplify the processes and realise value from the systems? So I think for me, the most important thing here is that Allbreak are unique in their approach in the UK market. They're 100% focused on helping existing Oracle customers realise the value out of their systems, not just focused on implementing new systems and the income that comes with that. They're a purpose-driven organization. So instead of starting from the technology, they're looking at the business and what its purposes are, and everything is driven from there. It's all about the design of how the system works for you. So it's design thinking led. And importantly, it's augmented with technology, including our favorite word of the day in IT, which is AI. And in terms of experience, whilst you might not have heard of Allbrick, if you've had an Oracle ERP implementation, you might have come across their consultants on their journey, given that we can make stats say anything, but there's no substitute for completing over 50 successful projects in over 30 countries. So as you can imagine, you might have come across their consultants. What makes their solutions unique as well is their 130 plus proprietary tools. So that's tools they've developed themselves, which put them in a unique position to deliver these solutions like nobody else can. So we won't talk a lot about the technology in detail today, rather about what it can do for you and the benefits. But we'll just give a little overview of the services and products that Allbrick present. So first and foremost is Second Sight, and we're going to talk about Second Sight as we go through the slides, but more from a what it can do for you point of view. So Second Sight is a value realization consulting program that focuses on business processes and how to improve them. Then alongside that, we've got Evolve, which is Allbrick's managed service, which again enhances that value realization program. And then we've got Purpose. So as I said, we don't focus on new implementations, but in key areas where Allbrick have industry experience, and that's just kind of 3 or 4 areas, they will use their value realization program alongside the implementation to get the best possible outcome for customers. In addition to the services offered, there's a number of products that go alongside this. So for starters, we've got Aubrey, which is kind of co-pilot for Fusion, which gives it superpowers. There is Foresight, which is an AI-powered review of systems and their maturity. There is Smart Close, which is, so I went to a CFO summit recently, and the hot topic of conversation is how can we harness AI to actually make some real difference in the processes that we use every day. Smart Close is one of those tools, so it's an AI-powered closing tool. And then lastly, Smart Usage, which is more of a license review and optimization tool, which, as we all know, is very important in the Oracle world. Kind of a black art. So I think the key here is that Allbrick has experience across the Oracle suite from ERP and HCM to CX, and has a vast experience and knowledge within the company around that. So I'm going to hand over to Rob now, and not to age you too much, Rob, but we're going to hear from Rob on how on P2P the challenges he's seen over many years and in the various industries. He's going to talk a little bit more about that before we hand over to Anna and see some real world examples. Over to you, Rob.
Great. Thank you, Danielle. As you've heard from Danielle, Orbrick works to deliver real business benefits to its clients by focusing on value realization, using existing investments in Oracle Fusion to create real new value. It does this with a really perfect blend of expertise and tools, some of which use artificial intelligence, AI. Last month at the Oracle User Group Awards in the UK, they won 3 awards, one for generative AI and innovation products, and one as Business Transformation Advisory Firm of the Year. So they have some very strong credentials and are recognised in the industry. So let's move on to the topic du jour, which the topic of today's webinar, which is Days Payable Outstanding, or DPO. As you can see, there are a number of quotes here on the slide. There really is a balance between maximizing DPO and maintaining supplier relationships. Of course, these aren't the only issues inside P2P and other business processes within an organization. These issues could extend to areas such as audit and compliance, period close, execution, reconciliations, actionable insights, and even Oracle license or subscription optimization. So whilst today we're going to focus on DPO, the services that Orbrick offer cover business processes across the whole enterprise. So you should really be engaging with Orbrick whenever you have needs for looking at your business processes across the enterprise to drive efficiency improvements and value realization. Specifically on DPO, it's a topic I'm very familiar with. I used to be a CIO of a manufacturing group, and working capital requirements were very much front and center of that operation, that group. Was the business I worked for produced and produces a range of different types of products. Copper was the main commodity in the products they manufactured, both in terms of the volume and definitely the cost of the goods. So we used to keep a very close eye on the copper price on the London Metal Exchange. There used to be screens up all over the building showing the current price. But what they did by finding the right level of DPO, the group was able to control its cash requirements and gave it some flexibility to buy commodity raw materials, in other words, copper, based on the future order book when the prices were good. So it brought some real benefit and cost savings. Of course, DPO is just one element of the overall cash cycle, and while today's webinar will be focusing on P2P, the same approach is available for sales, inventory, and so on to deliver an overall picture of cash management needs of a business. Next slide, please. When I was doing some research for this webinar, I asked Copilot, my new best friend AI, to produce an example of some DPO days. And what it came up with is quite an interesting example of 2 different approaches at Amazon and Walmart. Obviously, both huge American global retailers that operate in over 20 countries. I was a bit surprised that Amazon only operated in 20 countries, but I've definitely had it confirmed by further research that they've got 23 marketplaces globally, although they do deliver to over 100 countries. And what a difference between the DPOs for these 2 firms. Amazon's approach is very much to maximize DPO, which of course helps to reduce its working capital requirements, but it can have a negative impact on supplier sentiment. Walmart, on the other hand, as you can see, pays much faster, and it has a policy of paying suppliers on time and allows earlier payments to be requested in exchange for a settlement discount. However, they do penalise suppliers for failing to deliver goods either on time or completely. So that's 2 different strategies. But it varies hugely. I've spent quite a lot of time working with the public sector in the UK in the last 10 years in shared services and back office of HR and finance. And for example, the Ministry of Defence, who use Oracle e-Business Suite and are moving to Fusion currently, aims to pay 90% of valid invoices from small and medium-sized suppliers within 5 days and 100% within 30 days. Last year, according to its accounts, it achieved just over 89% of invoices paid within 5 days and over 99% within 30. I'm going to shortly hand over to Anne, who will take you through the core of the presentation, talking about Albrick's approach and the technology they use to support their value realization services. But before I do, I've got a quick but potentially complex question for Anne, which is, Anne, Albrick takes a different approach, perhaps to your typical Oracle partner, by focusing squarely on value creation. How do you think this benefits Albrick's clients?
Uh, so you are absolutely correct, Rob, that our whole theme is around value realization. So whenever we work with any customer, we start any project, the first thing we do is we identify the purpose, that what is the purpose, what are the outcome that they want to achieve. And then the whole project, their whole methodology revolves around that purpose only, to make sure that whatever we are doing, it's finally should be aligned to the outcome that we want to achieve for that client. And the big thing is that even our commercials, so we agreed with the customer, so those commercial in that certain milestone also aligned with that, if customer achieve that purpose or outcome, then only they should go ahead for those milestones. So everything revolves around the customer, and that's why it's going to give a big benefit to the customer, right? Because as a vendor, we are aligned on their strategic goals. So this is the first thing. And second most important thing is that based on Orbrick vast consulting experience, plus the kind of tools that we have developed, the process analysis and all those are very faster, that it can produce the results in maybe in 1 or 2 days itself, that where are the areas which can be improved further, and it gives the right insight to the customer that what should be the next actions. So yeah, this is I think this is how it benefits to the customer, that it looks like a two side teams aligned for the common goals.
I mean, that's brilliant, Anna. I mean, I'm really impressed. Somebody who's been around this industry for a very long time, that you focus on business value, you align to strategic objectives within the clients, and you also do a bit of a risk sharing model as well commercially where it's appropriate. So yeah, fabulous. I mean, customers make large investments in Oracle Fusion, and this enables them, what Olbrick offers enables them to put icing on the cake and achieve significant returns on these investments, which must be welcome. So now I'm going to hand over to you, Anne, to take us through a short case study first before lifting the veil a bit on how everything works and how the benefits can be delivered.
Sure. Thank you, Rob and Daniel. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Got the slide sorter.
That's visible?
No, it's the other. You want to be the other one?
It's
Perfect.
good now?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Let me. So to start with, Rob, and I totally compliment to what you said, and what all the pain areas that you just highlighted. As per my experience working globally for last 15 years, I totally aligned with the issues that you just mentioned, that there are around in the procurement P2P process, in the procurement to pay process. Of course, organizations are going with many different challenges. Of course, DPO is critical one, but apart from that, the supplier relationships, the audit issues, compliance issues, tax related issues, there are many challenges the organization face. And that's where even after performing the digital transformations, they feel that they are not generating a right return on investment based on the strategic investment that they made. And sometimes they even feel that they need to you know align more manpower, and they need to give more time to manage Oracle related activities. It's a similar type of case we have worked upon. So there is a client, we have one client in UK. uh, it's a utility based company, Greystone. So they were facing the similar challenges. So Greystone is in utility. They have implemented Oracle Fusion. Their whole P2P process was in Fusion. But even after almost 1 year that they were leveraging Oracle Fusion, even after that their feel was that they are not able to optimally able to utilize the Oracle Fusions, and there are many gaps that they were seeing in the business processes. And it looks like to them that they are keep on increasing the manpower to manage Oracle. And that's where Orbrick been introduced. Orbrick has having a detailed discussions with their leadership team. They have explained us that how different processes are where they see certain business process gaps, uh, and they really want to improve on those business processes, and want to make all the things more streamlined within the system, to make sure that system should not be like a data entry tool, and it should give them the right insights. So that's where there's a detailed discussions with the leadership team, and they were having many different problem statements. But of course, for them, the first two key areas which was even critical for their business was, first is DPO, because CFO's view was that the DPO is not as per the industry benchmark that they are following. They are way below the industry benchmark. So that was the key issue. And second issue was around supplier inquiries and escalations. So they used to get many supplier inquiries and escalation, and they have formed a separate team just to manage those inquiries and escalation. And as we understand, utilities P2P process is generally very complex, because it include your suppliers, subcontractors part. Even there are cases of retainage releases. So there are many things which makes the P2P process of utility very complex. We should be compliant with the HMRC, the VAT compliance, and CVR compliance, CSI compliance. And again, this supplier escalation, it's basically directly impact the reputations of the customer. So this was, we agreed that, okay, these are the two major areas where they really want Orbrick to come into the picture, play a critical role, identify the solution, implement it. And we need to make sure that, this two areas, they really optimize it, and they want to see the major improvements in these two sides. So we as a Orbrick team, we worked with them very closely. We utilized our proprietary tools plus consulting experience, and multiple different type of engagements with them. And finally, when they saw the result, it was great. Means after once we implemented the solution, and we performed the whole activity, they were actually seeing the major drastic improvement in their entire P2P business processes. Their the DPO that they were looking, so previously they were way below the industry benchmark, but later, after the right adoption of right recommendations around solutions, after doing the business processes changes, their DPO optimized a lot, and it was almost near to the industry benchmark. And it helped them to unlock the cash flow of almost $1.2 million. So this was the great saving, a huge saving for them around the DPO. And over and above, even the as we streamline the entire P2P process, so even it helped them in reducing the supplier inquiries and escalations by there is a drastic improvement on that side. And there is a huge reductions in the supplier inquiries and escalations. Supplier was were getting more proactive updates around their invoice status, around payment status. They were getting paid on due date basis. So that this really helped them in in overall get generating the value around supplier inquiries and escalation around zero point 0.8 million. So almost like a 2 millions of they were seeing the cash flow unlock plus returns, and overall it was almost 50 to 60% of ROI. Now we need to understand the now we can understand that beneath each digital transformation there's a huge treasure which is lying. It's require a right key to unlock it, because it's a huge potential available within Oracle. Oracle is now very advanced around the solutions, around the AI platforms. It is just that we need to tap the right things to make sure that we are getting those value out of system. Now let's start understand how it happened. How did they achieve this? uh, and that's how here we are going to understand that as a Orbrick, what role we have played in this whole exercise, means how we performed it. So let's go ahead. This is as Daniel was mentioning, second site is one of the major offering uh, for Orbrick, and this basically having a solution for almost everything. So there is some disturbance. Someone need to mute, I think. The process start here. Rushabh, can you mute? I think there is some uh, disturbance. Is it for me or for everyone?
No, no, it is done. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So the process start here with is the identify, as we did for Greystone. It is the similar way that we work with the customer. We have a multiple discussions, and for that also we have certain self-service driven tool which really help us in understanding that what are the areas we should pick first. Like in Greystone case, we picked DPO and the supplier escalation as the two major issues. So the the process start with the identifying the right outcomes that the customer wants to achieve. Uh, so this is the first thing. And of course, based on Orbrick's rich consulting experience, we have already identified 45 plus outcomes. Like DPO is one. In the similar way, optimize your DSO, inventory optimizations, recruitment cycle time, licensing optimizations. So there are many outcomes wherein we help customers in achieving those outcomes and really getting a right ROIs for those outcomes. So this is the first step, which is identify the outcome which customer is looking for. Then the next process start with the inspire. So inspire is the process where leveraging our proprietary tools plus our consulting experience plus multiple round of discussions with customer, we basically what we do is we compare the overall process of the customer with the industry benchmark, and to make sure to tell them that where they are going good, where the for certain insight is there and that needs to be improved further. So that is the whole activity which we do in Inspire, and the similar thing we explained to Greystone, that okay, we already did the identification of the outcome. Now the next thing which we need to pick up is Inspire, where we'll work with your team, will use our tools. And again, these tools are GDPR compliant tools, so this is not like that going to collect all the informations. By using the minimalistic information, it identify that where are the issues exist in the overall business processes. Now the third part is ideate, where after having this process analysis part, we actually identify the what are the right solution can fit in as per the customer's business. Then comes the implement, where again leveraging our Oracle expertise, our delivery expertise, we implement the right solution for the customer. And of course, now when it comes to implement, it could be anything. It could be Oracle enhancement, Oracle module applications, Redwood transformations, AI based solutions. It could be anything, because here the outcome is in center. So whatever is required to achieve that outcome, that is something come as a part of implement. And finally, of course, even after implement, we make sure that we keep looking, keep checking those outcomes, or keep monitoring that are those going into the right direction or not. So that's the entire process of second side that we actually followed for the Greystone, to make sure that they achieve the value realization, which we have just seen in the earlier slide. So this the whole thing we explained to the Greystone, and that's where we start with. We have started with the Inspire process for the Greystone. And now here you will see that how, quickly in the few minutes, as I was explaining earlier, using our tools, you can quickly get the right insights around the business processes. In Inspire, as I was explaining, we there are three combination. It's a consulting plus tools plus interview. Okay, and again, these tools are not meant to be used by customer or Greystone. In our case, it's basically used by our consultant. So our consultant will use this tool to give the right insights to Greystone, so Greystone can understand the real challenges. Now let's have a quick view about of different tools. So first tool is a process mining. So what we did here is that we have extracted very basic informations from the Greystone environment around P2P process, and we put them into our this process mining tool. So this is a basically process mining tool. I'll quickly play this video. So it gives you the full view of your P2P process. Uh, and here you can see this is the entire flow of P2P. And if we expand it, you can see, so when we were seeing the Greystone data, so we observed that they have a major issues between the invoice document to creation date. That's the major leg. It's almost 20 days. Greystones, in cases they have a many invoices which were going on hold. One of the most interesting aspect of the Greystone was that their invoices becoming overdue by the time it gets approved. So their invoice due event was before even invoice approval. So through this, we got the quick insights around the entire P2P process of Greystone, that what are the key areas where we need to deep dive further, and need to drill down to identify the actual issues. So this is the process mining tool. And as you can explain here, we can analyze any process, whether it's a P2P, O2C, hire to retire. In few minutes, we can actually understand the process, and we can identify even the bottlenecks wherein we need to further deep dive. This is our first tool, the process mining tool. Now the next is a foresight. Again, you will see here that how quickly in minutes it can tell you that in the entire P2P process, where you are standing against the industry benchmark, if you will improve on those industry benchmark, how much value you can realize, and again with the potential solution. So this is about the foresight. I'll quickly play this one. And again, as I mentioned earlier also, these solutions are GDPR compliant first. And second, this are certain solutions are of course self-service solution, which even can be used by client, but these are mainly been used by our consultant to analyze your processes and give the insight. So for Greystone, again, we used Foresight. This is basically you need to enter the instance detail, username, password, and again here we need to select the outcomes. For Greystone, the outcome was that they want to optimize the DPO and enhance supplier relationship. So we have selected those. Here you can see, of course, 45 plus outcomes. We need to select the dates, that on which quarters I want to analyze the data. And when you will generate the foresight, it will give you a detailed report with the executive summary. that, okay, how you are working, doing in those two outcomes, how much cash flow you can unlock using if you really improve on those area. It also tells you in which stage you are. It gives you the detailed process map. Now we'll move to the most interesting part of the foresight is this one, the detailed outcome report. And see here, so what's happening for supply relation, it is giving me that, okay, for supply relation, what are the key matrices which are important? Like payment cycle time is very important for supply relationship. And here I can see it, that ideal the industry benchmark is that you should pay the suppliers within 10 days after once they are it's due. But for Greystone, it was almost 40 days. So you can understand the lag that was there in this entire process. And if we'll see the second KPI, interestingly, even invoice date to creation date, there was a lag of 20 days. So the benchmark is 10, and it was taking almost 20 days of lag. And uh, and again, this lag could be because of anything. Either suppliers are not giving you the invoices on time, or users are not punching it correctly once the invoice is received. So all this type of things require further discussions with the Greystone users. But looking at the first instance, it tells me that if I want to improve the supply relation, what all metrics I need to improve, I can directly get it from learning this foresight. It will tell me from trend point of view how I'm going, and even from the point of view of uh, the overall industry benchmark. Here now we can see there are multiple details. Even if we'll see the PO match percentage, it's only 10% for the Greystone. This is again a very big bottleneck which we have identified, and we'll also discuss in more detail in the upcoming slide. uh, uh, the other tools we'll see. So by running a foresight, it gives me the quick insight, what's happening good, what's not happening as per the benchmark, and where we need to improve it further. With that, uh, we'll now quickly, what we did, we identified some more issues earlier using foresight. And now this is the third area. This is our reporting tool that we have developed. In this, we have a 500 plus embedded KPIs, and you can toggle the data based on the different parameters. And this really helped our consultant in understanding the Greystone real issues. That, okay, if the PO match percentage was less, for which supplier it was less, or if my invoice cycle time is below, it is for a specific user or it is because of certain suppliers. So here I can toggle the data and I can see it. So what we did is we have taken up the P2P extracts of Greystone, and through our this internal reporting tool, we have analyzed the data in detail. So this is a quick video of this. Here you can see that, how this is a synopsis of total invoice, how many invoices are workflow approved. I can do the toggle between the data. I can see it user wise and all those. And further, even when we went to the payment terms, we observed that they're having 99% procurement based on the immediate payment term. And the best part is that even this, through this reporting tool, I can drill down the data and I can go till invoice level. So in the similar way, we did the cycle time analysis. So in the cycle time analysis, again, we have observed that majority of cycle time is not as per the industry benchmark for Greystone. And whether it's a invoice creation cycle time or it is a payment days, in all the scenarios, there was a big gap. And again, I can see here the user wise and all those information. uh, so in this our internal reporting tool, it is having a robust 500 plus KPIs, and you can view the data based on different dimensions. Uh, uh, so this basically gave our team more insights that what we should do in Greystone. So now you are understanding that Inspire is a very intensive exercise where we actually understand the system. We go into the process nitty-gritties. We actually understand the problems. And now starts the ideate phase. in ideate phase is mainly where we list down all the problems. So based on the gray stone discussions, how quickly now you can see in the previously how quickly we can analyze the processes using our tools, maybe in the minutes or in the days. And now it's a listing of the all the bottlenecks that we have identified, which we even just saw that there's a high invoice processing time, longer approval cycle time, payment cycle times are long, high ratio of invoices are going on hold. So we actually discussed with customers, the Greystone users, and we also got the insight, the root cause around it, that okay, the high invoice processing time is there. Why it is there? So then we came to know it is because that first they have a very high non-PO match percentage of invoice, right? That only 10% is PO match, rest 90% is non-PO match. So for non-PO match, you need more validation to do. So it's create more time for user to do the data entry because they need to manually check the supplier agreements which they are maintaining out of the system. Okay, they were having even certain insights were not available on the fingertips of the user when they are booking the invoice. So they need to check even all SOP compliance manually. So that was increasing their invoice processing time. In the similar way for approval cycle time also, the approvers are not having a right insight when they are approving or rejecting, and that was that was basically stretching their approval cycle time also. uh, uh, and again, high usage of immediate payment term, 98%. Why? Because their master data was having issue. Everything, all master data, all suppliers are loaded with the immediate payment term, so everything gets defaulted. So what we did, so their actual outcome was DPO and the supplier relationship. But then again, to improve that, we agreed with Greystone that okay, then you need to work on this KPI, this high invoice processing time approval. If we fix it, then eventually your DPO and escalation, a supplier relationship will improve. And that's where for this KPIs or this metrics is we said that okay, currently you are standing at this level, but at the same time, just let me point out. We also agreed that okay, what are the industry benchmark now they need to follow. uh, so this is what we agreed with the Greystone as a way forward. And again, now we need to suggest them that what solution they should opt for this, doing this. And that's where the most important part comes in is implementing. So it is about implementing the solution. And of course, it's require multiple solution discussions with customers, with Greystone mainly, finalizing the solution. As we were discussing, implement could be anything. It could be Oracle enhancement, like new module implementations, uh, Redwood transformations. It could be anything. It also could be a business process change. Could be something altogether, a new development you leveraging OIC and VBCS, or again, or Brick is already also having a certain interesting solution, or like Orbri, which provides the smart insight, smart guide, smart approval, which keeps on giving a right insight, exception list to the users. And it basically it is Aubrey AI assistant, which keeps giving a right insight to the users, so they can do the things more quickly within system, and they spend more time in doing certain more strategic initiatives. The solution could be in any of this category. So this is the solution that we actually agreed for Greystone. So let's take few of the areas. So for invoice creation to submission cycle time, of course, the major issues around it was that the users are not having the right insights when they are doing the data entries. So that's where we have implemented smart insight solution for them. So whenever the AP user will book the invoice, at that time they can check that the invoice is as per SOP compliance. And so rather than doing the manual checks, the system will give them outrightly the insight report, based on which that basically save the time on that part. Similar insight we have also implemented to reduce the invoice approval cycle time. And even we leveraged Oracle standard functionality like alert, reminder, and escalations to make sure that invoice approval cycle can be optimized further. In the similar way uh, for PO match percentage, because they were having a very low PO match percentage, for that we have implemented no PO no pay validations, which is there as part of Oracle, to make sure that if invoices are not matched to PO, then it goes for certain specific approvals. And to for high manual invoice percentage and high inquiry ratio, we asked them, we agreed with Greystone to implement either supplier portal or idea. In Greystone, we basically implemented supplier portal, so supplier themselves can punch in the invoice, and also they can updates on the real time rather than calling to the finance department. So this was the overall solution approach that we agreed with the Greystone, and we implemented it. And we know the outcome after that, right? That after implementing this, they really saw a major transformations in all those 7 to 8 matrices, which eventually helped them in getting the right value around DPOs and the supplier escalations. As we are talking about the solution, I'll give you the quick insight of the Smart Insight solution, that how it works. So Smart Insight is a solution wherein if oh, wait a minute. Smart Insight is the solution wherein if when the users are punching the AP invoices, so here we took the, because Greystone, we did it for their AP invoice. So whenever the Greystone users will enter into the system, when they will book the AP invoice, so it's a create invoice screen. When they will book the AP invoice, what will happen, as and when they will save it, they will get this Aubrey nudge. It's basically our browser extension, so you will get a nudge here, and in that they will get the exceptions or the insight regarding that invoice, that is whether this invoice is as per their SOP compliance or not. Okay, and accordingly they can decide that they want to go ahead, submit it for approval, or they really want to make any changes. Okay, and the interesting part is, so now once this invoice will go for approval, so now we are initiating the approval. So when the approver will log in and they will see the notification, they will also get this Aubrey nudge. And when they will click on it, they will get all the insight, whatever they need to approve or reject the invoice. And then they can take the actions accordingly. So you can see now the approver is going inside the notifications, and in the notification, this is how they will get this nudge. Now you can understand that how this is just one sample of the solution. So this is how we have implemented all the solutions for the Greystone to make sure that they achieve best out of this engagement. Now, now the next part is, so we have implemented the solution, but things not ends here. And it is very important that we keep on iterating. We keep on monitoring the KPIs that we agreed. And that's where one of the Aubrey key uh, tool, hindsight, comes into the picture, which is basically meant for the customer. So customer can proactively check this outcome, this metrics, their comparison with the industry benchmark. So it's more like a self-service. The customers can log in and check that how they are performing, and after this digital transformations, are they in the right directions and everything is improving or not improving. So I'll quickly play this video. So as I was mentioning, it's a proactive outcome monitoring. Uh, the key users or key stakeholders can all the time check that they are in which stage, or ascend, lift off, how they are performing, they are performing for DPO or any other outcomes. So we have provided this to Greystone. So Greystone key stakeholders or sponsors, they can actually check, and they can see that, okay, through this engagement, they are actually realizing the value and your processes are improving. And of course, after that, we have worked with many of the different challenges or problem statements of the Greystone uh, around P2P and O2C. But this is how in Orbrick we execute the whole cycle. The things start with the problem statement, but we make sure that we complete all cycle and connect the dots, and customer really achieve the right value out of this. So apart from, of course, the tangible value realizations, there are many intangible benefits also been received by Greystone. Uh, so as supplier escalation was a key challenge, so by putting the right DPOs, right payments on time, it really helped them in getting back their market reputations and quality services from the suppliers. It helped them in avoiding many legal risk and compliance related challenges. And of course, the most important thing is employee satisfaction, because again, the for inquiry and escalation team, it really make their job easy by implementing supplier portal that supplier can proactively can get the updates by just logging into the system. So of course there are certain tangible, but they also got many intangible results after implementing this solution. So I think this is how you we are ending the overall journey of Greystone, that how they really achieved the value realization after having engagement with Orbrick and leveraging our tools and consulting experience in understanding the processes, identifying the bottlenecks, and giving you the right solutions. And of course, a, a perfect execution of the same. So now, if there are any questions, we can take it up.
Yeah, thanks for that, Anna. That was a really, really interesting case study. And I think it's great to see that Albrecht put their money where their mouth is as well. So you're showing those tangible and intangible benefits before you make the changes, which also helps people to build their business case if they're making changes. So thank you for that. I think it was great. Are there any questions?
I've got one quickly, Danny, Anne. I mean, we've been talking obviously focused on P2P and DPO today, but can the work you do extend to other areas like DSO and, you know, inventory, holding, manufacturing, lead times, anything like that? Can it be extended?
Yes, yes, Rob. So, as I was explaining, we have a 45 plus outcome, and this libraries keep on evolving. So right now we have this around DSOs, manufacturings, work order cycle times, recruitments, payroll. So it is spread it to almost full Oracle suites around different business processes. So we have these tools available for all those business processes, and of course with consulting experience.
Great, thanks.
Any more questions? Okay, so I think next steps, we'd like to invite you to take our first look survey, which is a 7-minute ERP maturity assessment, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to do that. And for a couple of those, I think we're going to do 2 or 3, are we, Anne? For 2 or 3 of the people that do scan that and take that assessment, we will look at doing a full foresight assessment as well, as a free of charge. So yeah, scan that, get your self-assessment done now, and hopefully we can get you started on your value realization journey. Thank you for joining, and Rob, thank you for your interest and your questions, and I look forward to look forward to speaking to you all again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.